What's up, guys? So I've been working on a weapon overview video, and there's about 50 weapons in the game, and it just gets way too long, and it's just too much. So my idea is to try to do one class at a time, and to go over every weapon individually. And I'm only going to talk on very broad levels about things because, you know, patch to patch, you know, damage numbers change and stuff like that, but the mechanics always stay the same. And the rarity, you know, will also influence how many hits it takes to kill and things like that. So I'm going to start with the elf because it's very popular, very new player-friendly class. And I guess I'll start with the glaive, which is what we have out right here. The glaive is an elf DLC weapon. You get it from the Drakenfels DLC. And it's a little bit different in the sense that it does slash, slash, slash. That's all it does. And it's kind of slow. You can, if you can block cancel, and you can get it, make it go a little bit faster, and you can get a little bit more safety by having your block up. You know, that extra bit of safety helps. You only get 2 shields on this, but it's a very unique weapon, and it can be kind of tricky to use. Generally, it's not advised for new players to take this into kata and things like that, but it's completely viable if you know what you're doing, in which case you probably don't need to watch my videos. But the heavy attack is you're going to go up and then up and then down, up and down, and I will usually follow it up with a slash, so I'll go up, down, slash like that. The down strike, it's very easy to headshot storm vermins, and between the 2 strikes you can one-hit kill storm vermins on Cataclysm, so it's very useful for that feature. Otherwise, it can be a little bit more difficult to use. Next is a one-handed sword. It's extremely good, especially with the recent buff to red to the traits, where you can get Killing Blow, Scavenger, and Bloodlust on it, which is fantastic for use with a hag game. And you go slash, slash, stab, slash, slash, stab. So your most ideal attack combination is slash, slash, block, slash, slash, block. And this is characteristic of every one-handed weapon in the game right now. One-handed sword, I should say, pardon me. As they all do, slash, slash, block is generally what you want to do to cancel that stab, because it only hits 1 target. Its power attack is a little bit different, though. It hits 1 target. It's a single target stab. So, you know, if you're up against storm vermin, you're going to run a power attack. If you're up against a horde, slash, slash, block. That's how you want to do it. One quirk about this weapon is if you push and then start, you'll see I push, I start at number 2, then 3. Most weapons usually start at 1. You know, you do a shove and then it goes 1, 2, 3, but here you shove and it goes 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just a little quirk, something to be mindful of. Next is dual swords. Dual swords is a great new player weapon. Very easy to use because it's just all slashes. And if you need to fight a storm vermin, your power attack is also a slash. Very easy to use, very simple. One thing the elf weapons can do, all but the one-handed sword and the glaive, they can push stab. So that, you know, that might come in handy. It's handy if you have like devastating blow for against storm vermin and stuff, I suppose. Very, very good new player weapon. Very safe, very easy. Sword and dagger. This is probably the most popular elf melee weapon, for good reason. Slash, slash, stab, stab, slash, slash, stab, stab. It can do the push stabby thing, which is handy. And its power attack is a slash and then a stab. A slash and a stab. But, of course, the slash penetrates armor, like all power attacks do. This is an extremely good weapon, especially the red version, because the red version can get slightly higher regrowth. Very good new player friendly weapon. Most people tend to take sword and dagger. Dual daggers. This weapon is a little bit mechanically limited. The reason is because you see these look like slashes. These are stabs, so it's 1 hit, 1 hit, 1 hit, 1 hit, which ends up actually having a pretty low DPS. You know, they're gonna buff it in Death on the Reich, but you know, it's not gonna overcome that mechanical limitation of being unable to stun large amounts of rats. One notable thing is, you'll see here, if I push, you get 4 pushes with it instead of the 2 that your shields would suggest you should get. So you can do more pushes to kind of compensate for the having fewer shields. And its power attack's a stab. People tend to not use these as much. They're really fun to use, but they tend to be a little bit harder to use, a little bit less safe, because you're not stun locking a large group of rats around you, so it can make it a little bit trickier. For ranged weapons, first is a trueflight. Trueflight is extremely strong. It is the best anti-special weapon in the game because it's faster than the bolt staff. So you do the don't ever just do the regular fire. It hurts my soul when I see people do that. Always charge attack. And this is mostly to kill specials, because if suppose there's a Packmaster over there behind that wall, I can look at where he is. He will highlight in red. I can look, then I can go over here, shoot, and my arrow will curve around the wall and hit him. So it is extremely, extremely powerful for that reason. I mean, not only is it an aimbot, but it also curves around corners, and that's the real power in this weapon. If you have a trueflight on your team, nobody should take any damage to specials in that run, ever. You really, you messed up if someone on your team takes special damage and you have a trueflight, because you have the ability to eliminate every special before it presents a threat to your team. It's extremely, extremely good. At the moment, it's also very strong against the ogre as well, which will probably get nerfed. Hagbane, very, very strong as well. Almost every elf takes either the trueflight or the Hagbane. I prefer the Hagbane because I don't like the aimbot-ness. I just don't like it. It's just a personal thing. I do use it sometimes, though, to compensate for my bad skills. But the Hagbane is great. Now, the Hagbane, your light attack is pretty quick. Your charge attack is a little bit slower, but you still want to use the charge attack against most targets. The reason is because, say there's a group of like 5 rats right there up against that wall, I can charge attack, shoot at their feet, and the charge attack will damage all of them. They'll all get the DOT applied to them, and they will be stumbled. It will knock them back. That is extremely powerful to thin out hordes before they get to you, to thin out trash, and it's very useful to make space. There could be 20 rats on top of me, and I can just do this and just walk away out of like 20 rats, which is not possible to do with really any other weapon. It's very strong. When you attack this, or when you use this, if you hold right mouse button and shoot, your fire rate's this. You can get a slightly faster fire rate if you use right mouse button. If you right mouse button, then left, right, then left, right, then left, you can get a slightly faster fire rate. The other two are the longbow and the swift bow. Oh, where's my longbow? Longbow's pretty good. It should get buffed. One hit kills with charge attacks on Storm Vermin, on Cataclysm. But it's a projectile, so you're gonna have a little bit of drop, and you have to lead with it. Maybe you can kind of see the arrow flying away. Maybe you have to lead with it a little bit, so it's harder to use than a handgun, but its fire rate's faster. You can your light attack can one-hit kill clan rats, and you have more ammo than a handgun. So you win some, you lose some with it. It's not very popular, but it is really fun if you're a good shot. Swiftbow is kind of mechanically limited. The reason is because each light attack only one-hit kills a rat up to Nightmare. On Cataclysm, you have to get a headshot with the light attack, which, unless you're a very good shot, that can be difficult to do efficiently. And its charge attack is pretty garbage against armor and against specials, so that really ends up being mostly just to kill trash on Nightmare. I mean, you can use it in Kata. It has a huge ammo reserve, and I mean, double tapping rats isn't a big deal, and getting those headshots or just charge shotting them is very effective. It tends to not be as much of a new player friendly weapon as the Meta 2, which is the Hagbane and the trueflight. But anyway, so I hope this was helpful if you're a newer player to see an overview of all the elf weapons. Elf is a great character for new players to play because the elf has a lot of very, very strong things. And I just remembered, the elf, all but the glaive, have infinite dodges. So even without, I've got this one. So you can just dodge for forever, and you will never get fatigued. And this is a very, very useful thing, which until recently only elf weapons could do. Now with the seal of the Swift Strider, now any weapon can do that. But before, only elf weapons could do it. and that was really useful. And it's still useful, but less useful, because, I mean, it's not that common that you really need to do that many dodges, but it is a handy thing. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. A brief overview of the elf character and what she has access to.